Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Samson Dauda has won the 2024 France Tsunami Pro and also the Olympia qualification for 2025. Huge congratulations goes out to Samson and his coach, his wife. Now in second place, we had a very good version of Andrea Presti, and I know this really stings for Andrea. I believe he took second to Hunter at the Italy Pro and also took second to Bruno Santos at the Europa Pro, and now another second place to Samson Dauda. Third place on the left, we had Theo Laguerrier, and in fourth place, we had Mohamed Nassour. I'm not going to go through a full breakdown of what happened at the France Pro. I believe all the placings were pretty much straightforward, but I did hear a few people say maybe Theo should have placed second. But I want to focus on Samson Dauda, as I'm pretty sure that's what you guys are all waiting on. Was this a mistake, him doing the France Pro? How is this showing? How is he going to do it this year's Mr. Olympia? This would have only been a mistake if Samson came in off. From what I'm looking at, I believe this is possibly the best Samson Dauda we've ever seen, if not right up there with the Arnold UK version. The thing that I noticed the most was the waist. The waist seemed to be a lot more tapered here, especially in the front poses. Samson was really controlling his midsection. And everyone is saying Samson's not conditioned, Samson's not conditioned. This is maybe 1% better than I've seen Samson's condition at its all-time best. Again, Samson isn't a Nick Walker or Hadi Chupin. He may not ever have those crazy strided glutes, but Samson is conditioned. He's definitely hard. He's just not as peeled as some of the other guys. But Samson has other areas to highlight, like muscularity, also the crazy 3D look. But overall, I was very, very impressed by this showing from Samson. As far as how is he going to do at this year's Olympia, this doesn't really change anything as far as my predictions. I truly think that Samson is still going to have to find some way to get in better condition, to showcase more detail from the back, to take out a guy like Hadi Chupin, to take out a guy like Derek Lunsford, but I could be wrong. It's true that Samson may not have strided glutes, but he pretty much has everything else. He still doesn't have a back like Derek or Hadi, but the back is definitely improving, and I can definitely understand the argument that some people make, like this guy has everything else. Should he really be judged that hard on just how many lines he has in his glutes? And we can make the same case for Andrew Jacked. Either way, let me know in the comment section below. Congratulations to Samson. And let's go ahead and switch over to the Legion Sports Fest, which was also held yesterday. Brett Wilkin walked away with the 2025 Olympia qualification, and Bruno Santos ended up finishing in second place. Similar to the France Pro, I don't think I really need to go into a full breakdown about this show. To me, I think Brett was the clear winner. He came in, he got the job done, and also got next year's qualification. The only real critique I have about Brett is he does need to add a lot more size overall. He's in a great position already, having a qualification for next year, having a full year off. And I also want to highlight, just in case some of you guys forgot, Brett ended up pulling out of the 2023 Mr. Olympia just because his body wasn't responding well, meals weren't going down. Brett actually ended up losing a ton of weight and ended up working back up, and now has a qualification for next year's show. So hopefully Brett's body responds great this entire prep. He's able to add size on fine, and Brett does not need to play the size game. His conditioning, his detail here is truly one of his trademarks, and if Brett can manage to add size and still bring this level of conditioning, I think he's going to be very impressive. I'll never forget when he pushed Hunter Labrada back at that Tampa Pro. Now let's switch over to a recent update of Rafael Brandão under 2 weeks out from this year's Olympia, and the quads are looking extremely dry. And this is exactly what I want to see from Rafa. I think he played a little bit of the size game earlier this year going up against Tony Burton, but Rafa needs to come in absolutely peeled to this year's Mr. Olympia. And again, he's working with Coach Neil Yoda Hill. I believe this is going to be maybe their third show working together, so they should be in a groove by now, and I'm expecting the best we've ever seen from this guy. Now let's switch over to Foda, who recently posted up an update also at under 2 weeks, and conditioning is looking a lot better here. As we've talked about the last few weeks with Foda, conditioning wasn't really the main focus. It was about maintaining size and then bringing conditioning in later, but it looks pretty good. And in the caption of this post, Foda said he's not going to the Mr. Olympia just to go. He's planning on finishing top 10. Now let's switch over to a recent guest posing of Quinton Eriya Quint Beastwood. As far as I know, Quinton is still coaching himself, and he is not looking for a coach. And for Quint to be in the offseason, he has a good amount of separation in the quads. Now, one of the main things that I want to highlight, and I don't think anyone else is highlighting this, Quint's posing is 1,000 times better. We crucified this guy for so long about shaking, comparing him to Paul Dillette. Now, don't get me wrong, the posing still isn't perfect, but this is miles better than what Quinton Eriya was doing maybe a year or 2 years ago. And there are only two things I'm worried about when it comes to Quint right now. One thing, he doesn't have a coach, and the second thing being Quint doesn't want to push his weight up this offseason, but he's a taller guy. He has to. Now let's switch over to classic physique. Actually, we're still on the topic of men's open bodybuilding because Stephane Matala recently announced he isn't going to compete in this year's Olympia in classic physique, and he's officially going to move up to the men's open division. And man, we got to clap for Stephane, man. We got to clap for this guy. We've been waiting on this day for so long. And I can't even tell you guys the amount of people that DM'd me this on Instagram as soon as it happened, because I've been going back and forth with so many people about why is this guy still in classic physique? Why is this guy losing 30, 40, 50 pounds of prep? Why is he putting his health in jeopardy to compete in the classic physique division? Now, he definitely has a long road ahead of him as far as competing in men's open bodybuilding, because that is absolutely stacked right now. Even to get into the top 10 would be a huge accomplishment for a lot of guys in open, but I'm pretty sure we're all excited about this. We're looking forward to seeing what this guy can bring, but I'm honestly just glad that Stephane can finally bodybuild. I mean, he's honestly been body losing for the last year or two. Every prep, is he going to lose 50 pounds, 40 pounds, 30 pounds? Stephane doesn't do much building. Even in the off season, he has to pretty much just maintain his weight. And I've said this guy's name about 3 different times. My apologies, Stephanie. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you did indeed enjoy it. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. No archive today, guys. We'll be back at it in a day or two. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness. That's it. I'm out.